Okay, now,
Go.
go.
I was born in Dayton, Ohio in 1924. I was the oldest of three children. My father was a MD.
We got to go back to your name anyhow first, Tom.
Oh, okay.
My name is.
Okay, I forgot to tell you, which is very important, that my name is Thomas McClellan Middleton. And then I was I was born in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay. In what year?
1924.
Okay.
And my mother was a nurse. My father was a physician. I have a brother and sister. Went to high school in Dayton and participated in athletics.
What kind of athletics?
I lettered in football, basketball,
Wow.
baseball, and track.
Wow. No injuries?
Yeah, I got a leg injury and had it operated on and missed one game my senior year. But high school to me was a very enjoyable experience. We had a lot of fun. We participated in sports, had a good social life. Like I said, it probably was the most fun time of my life as far as no worries, no responsibilities, just go out and have fun and do what you wanted to do.
That's important.
After the war, after high school, I went to college at the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina, with the idea of getting an appointment to West Point. I had a cousin who had an appointment and was in West Point, and I thought it'd be a good way to go. But when I was at the Citadel, I enlisted in the reserves because they said it was a good way to stay in school. But 3 months after we enlisted in the reserves, they called all the reserves to active duty, which then put you in a different category as for an appointment to the point. So I went into the Army, had basic training in the Armed Forces at Fort Knox, Kentucky. And after that, I took the tests and went back to college in the Army Specialized Training Program. That lasted for 2 semesters until they called us all up to active duty when they decided that they needed infantry.
What year would that have been?
That was in 1943.
Okay.
And then after they called us up, we were shipped to Texas to Camp Swift for basic training. Then from there we went to Philadelphia, New York, and then overseas. And we were the first unit to land in continental Europe. We didn't go to England first. We went right to Cherbourg, France. And then from there we took the boxcars to Belgium. And right outside of Liège, we went into our first combat. And went from Liège into or Belgium into Germany. I was by that time a squad leader, and we were taking the Roer River, or the ground leading to the Roer River, and the platoon sergeant was wounded, and the captain asked me to come see him to be promoted to platoon sergeant. and I was hit as I was going to visit him. And you jump out of a hole and you run. You think nobody can hit you, and but I took about 4 steps and got hit in the leg, and
You got hit where, in the head?
in the leg.
In the leg.
Yeah.
That's right, though.
And they went in the outside and fractured the fibula and blew out the calf. And so I, as I remember, this was in the morning, and I was out in the open and nobody could come up to me, so I didn't want to stay out there all night. So in the afternoon, which it got dark around 4 o'clock, I crawled back into a hole, and from there the medic got me, took me back, and I went into a hospital in Holland, and there they operated on me and sent me back to England, where they operated on me again and sent me back to the States.
Wow. That was when, 43?
Yes.
Still part of 43.
Yeah, and in the States I went to a hospital in Nashville, and from there I had another operation, and after that they sent me to Camp Atterbury in Indiana, from where I was discharged.
Okay.
And then
The discharge year would be what?
45.
45.
And so I took a bus out to the Route 40 and thumbed from Indianapolis to Dayton, where I lived, and I was home.
You were back home.
Back home, yeah.
But
So-
your family was glad to see you.
Yeah, they naturally, yeah, they were. And so it was good to get home.
Good. That's good. Okay.
And, after that, I had to go back to the VA hospitals every once in a while to have my leg checked. And
What leg was it? Your right leg?
my right leg, just before the calf. And I was 100% disabled for about 2.5 years. And then went in for another physical, and they cut me down to 40%, which I still am, 40% disabled. And but I've had a good life. But I got in, out, and nothing too severe, and a lot of guys didn't.
Yeah, you were fortunate.
Yep. So I don't know what else to say.
Well, I think you have to talk about you liberating the camp and what you saw in the camp.
Well, we didn't. We weren't
This was before you were shot. I
Oh yeah, no.
And maybe if you could talk about.
Well, actually, the camps.
You could speak up. Go ahead.
Okay, Tom, you have on there where you went through the different towns and about Lineage.
Where?
Yeah, we have to talk about, the town.
Yeah,
Where that
I don't want to talk on
the
that.
town that Fred lived in.
Yeah.
The way we have it here is that overseas September.
Yeah. That these are some of your memories.
These are some of the memories that from 1944 and 1945. Some of the different events that I seem to recall. That we shipped out from Brooklyn, New York on a troop ship. The ship was a Norwegian ship with an English crew. Every inch of the ship was filled with soldiers. Food was horrible, and it took 13 days to reach Cherbourg, France. We were in a 50-ship convoy. All ships made it, none sunk by German subs. And we were the first outfit to go directly from the States to France. Stayed in tents in Normandy before going on 40 and 8 train cars to go across France to Belgium. Then trucks to Holland, and then into combat. I remember the trenches and the pillboxes and all the fortifications of the Siegfried Line. Walking across the open fields while advancing with artillery and troops firing at you. Mortar shells landing within 2 yards of your foxhole, halfway filling up the hole with dirt, but not hitting anyone. Night patrols outside, up front of our lines, and you were always afraid you would be shot by your own troops, as well as the enemy, upon returning to our lines.
You're doing good.
Is that okay?
Sure, you're doing good.
Okay. I remember a shower in a coal mine outside of Maastricht, Holland. That's the first time we had had a shower since arriving in Europe. Under fire for the first time. I should have put down there scared to death.
Yeah, say, yes, sir. Yeah, you can put that in there. How can you not be?
Yeah, falling out of the line for the first time. I remember that the 84th Division was replacing us, and they waited until we got out of the holes before they came in, and then we had to walk back, and I think the Germans discovered or thought that the troops were moving, and so they started firing 88s back as we were pulling out, and the sound of an 88 to me is the most scary sound that I've ever heard. That it just sounds like a boom, boom. And then the German burp guns were, the sound of them were scary also. That they, I think they weren't firing at anything. They were just firing them to scare us. But they were much more rapid fire than our Thompson machine guns. And then one of the bad things was seeing a horse-drawn ammunition train hit by phosphorus shells. The Germans were still using horse-drawn trains to bring up their shells, and this one time our mortar companies caught sight of them and started firing the phosphorus shells at them, and a blood-chilling sound is with a horse crying or when after being hit with a phosphorus shell, and then watching artillery spotting planes fly over your hole. Nights in foxholes seemed like they would never end, and then every once in a while we took a town and stayed in the basement of the houses at night. And nights when you were selected to go out on patrol, and you crawled out through our lines and as far as you could without getting shot to see where the Germans were. And then getting shot, coming out of the hole, back to the medics, stretcher carried by German POWs, at hospital in Liège, Belgium, and flying from Belgium to England.
Okay. That's good. Here, you sit up here, Marilyn.
You want to tell the town, shall we?
Oh, well,
Yeah, and so end up with this, and then you talk about Fred.
okay.
You're doing good.
Well, I guess I went to, I guess, Warracken. And I can't pronounce these words. Geilenkirchen, I remember Geilenkirchen. Immendorf, Beck, Gernensweiler, Linnick, and,
What about Lynch?
huh?
What do you
So
think?
Lennox was just one of the many towns
Towns
that you went through.
that we took, yeah.
Oh, what you talking about sleeping?
Well, sleep, what, down the basement, you mean? Oh, well, every town.
Yeah, you can talk about that.
I got a, no, we,
That's good.
every little, you know, we call them towns, they were villages, really.
Yeah.
Which in Germany, I guess they had one big city and then 100 little villages in between. And we had to take each one of the little villages, and when we would take one, and it was later in the day, we'd find a house that had a basement, and take all the mattresses off the beds upstairs and carry them down into the basement, and stay down in the basement at night. And I remember, I don't know why I remember it, but I remember in one little old town, and in a house, we took the little Coleman stoves and put our mess kits and cooked lunch on the back porch of the house, and thought that was fantastic at the time to be able to do that. And because that was, I guess, the first warm meal we'd had for a while. It was all
That hit the
K
spot,
rations
yeah.
before that, and then.
Were there many people in town that did you see
No,
civilians?
no, they had all gone. That were, whether they left before the Germans had come in or whether the Germans took them out, I don't know. But the towns were empty when.
Most every town you went through
was
empty.
Yeah, we didn't go through any big towns.
But the small villages.
The small villages all were empty,
Okay.
and some of the houses were, shot up. Some of the houses weren't, and so some had basements, some didn't. So we, got smart and found ones with basements and slept down there at night.
Wow.
And,
So you
yeah.
you had a decent night's sleep in the basement on the mattress.
Yeah, it was good.
Did some of the villages, some of the homes that you saw, did they appear like they were just recently vacated?
Yeah.
Or, in other words, there was
There's furniture.
furniture and everything
Yeah.
there, like they just walked out.
Right, basically.
Just took off.
Yeah. In fact,
Yeah.
I remember one, I don't know where it was, but I remember one house had a china closet, or whatever you want to call it, the buffet, and on the buffet were silver pitchers and everything. And you open a drawer, there was silverware and everything in it, which they left, I'm sure, in such a hurry
Yeah.
that they didn't take that stuff. And
Or they were taken to a camp.
yeah, or they were, something.
Oh, yeah.
But we it would have been nice to get some of that stuff, but we didn't. And
You shouldn't.
huh?
You
We
shouldn't.
shouldn't. But
You were not supposed to take any.
oh
take
no,
some.
no, and no, it was a court-martial offense if they caught you taking anything.
Oh,
And
wow.
so somebody got it, later on.
The population in some of these towns were they just German people or
Yeah.
Jewish people, or it's hard to.
No, I don't recall the difference. I don't think there were any Jewish people at that time at all.
In other words, they were Germans that lived in these
Yeah,
homes, and
yeah.
they just
they
left.
left.
They left fast when
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
U.S. was coming.
they were before we went through the towns. They were shelled, and you know, if you got a a large shell coming in around your town, your house or something, you got the hell out of there quick. And
Oh yeah.
and so everything, all the little towns that we went through or stayed in or what have you, were empty when we went into them, and didn't see any German civilians at all. So
Okay.
the only
You're going to talk
Yeah.
about lineage and how you met Fred?
Yeah, you've got to talk about when you came back.
well,
When you came to the States, you went back to Dayton
yeah, well,
after the war.
yeah, after the war, I came back on a hospital ship and had a cast on my leg and landed in Boston and then was shipped to Nashville, Tennessee, in hospital down there. And I was operated on again down there. And then they shipped me to Wakeman Hospital in Indianapolis at Camp Atterbury. And they did some kind of an operation, nothing major, but to clear up something on my leg there.
Were you able to walk?
Yeah,
After all these
I was on
interruptions.
crutches for a long time, for about 10 months, I guess. And then cane. And the first time they were let me come home, I was on a cane. And I was probably on a cane for 6 months after that. And then after that, I stopped using everything. So,
Okay.
you know, it's nothing great about the story. It's just
No, it
typical of many of us, who got over there, got wounded, got back, and re-entered civilian life. Really,
Yeah, when you re-entered civilian life, let's see, you went back to your hometown and family,
uh,
right?
I got out of the hospital one day in September and thumbed home from Indianapolis to Dayton. The next morning, I got on a bus and went to college.
Oh wow.
And because college had just started a week or two earlier than that, they said if I got there within a certain period of time, I could, enter.
Enter college.
So that's what I did, and then I think the thing I remember first about that first semester in college was going to Newark, Ohio, to a bar drinking beer at night. that everybody there that I was running around with were all veterans who had just got out of the Army and had decided to go back to college. And about 3 nights a week, we had, somebody had a car or something with, so we'd go to 12 miles to Newark and a little bar over there, and we'd sit there and drink pitchers of beer.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Wow. You deserved it.
And so then after that, I decided I wasn't learning anything, and transferred to the University of Dayton, and I graduated from the University of Dayton.
Oh, good. What was your degree in?
Biology.
Biology.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to be a doctor, or thought I would be, but I never got into med school that year,
Oh.
and so I went to embalming college and became a funeral director and an embalmer. And my brother was, and I had an uncle was, And
That was like a family business.
Yeah. And yeah, my dad was a doctor, and my uncles were funeral directors. And I stayed until I got my license, and then a while longer, and I didn't like it, and so I got a job selling pills. And
Selling what, pills?
yeah, with a pharmaceutical company.
Okay, but I think that's interesting. 63 years.
Yeah, you could back up and say anything you want,
Yeah.
you know. If
And
there's
then, like, down here, 63 years after that, I met a Holocaust survivor who lived lived in the city of Lake. We met at physical therapy, and that was Fred.
yeah. That's,
He's a very gracious man.
but you moved from when you were in Dayton, you worked for a pharmaceutical company. Was it in Dayton?
No, I never worked for a pharmaceutical company in Dayton.
Oh,
I worked for in Louisiana and Kentucky, and
you were a traveling man.
yeah, I had every territory I had required traveling.
Were you married at that time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
he went the whole route.
yeah. But
What year did you guys marry?
what year was it? She's not gonna say.
Well, it was after you
49?
finished college.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in 1949.
See, I was good.
Good. All right. Okay, so when did you move to Arizona? And you left the pharmacy business?
Well, no, I worked for Armour Pharmaceutical out here. That
Oh,
1973.
in 1973 we came out here
okay.
and worked for them for a while, and then they closed up their office here and moved back to New York.
Oh,
And so we decided to stay here. And Marilyn had gone into the real estate business. And so we thought, well, if I went into the real estate business with her, that if we couldn't make a living, something was wrong. And so, which I did,
Yeah.
and which we did, and so we're here now. After all these years.
okay. So then you needed therapy, I take it, and that's when you, well, in your therapy class or group,
Yeah.
that is when you met a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah,
Boy, how did that conversation ever start up? That's
I don't know.
It's it's really got to be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
know, because you were both in this group,
Yeah, we're both in this
Therapy.
exercise.
both doing
Group,
your therapy,
Yeah,
and somehow you started speaking.
Yeah, started talking and things, and I guess he said something about where he was from, and I said, well, I've been there, you know, and
So you remembered that town when he
Oh,
mentioned
yeah.
that town.
Yeah.
You
yeah, and you know, it was a long time ago, and
It was only a year.
that's amazing coincidence
Yeah.
that you would both meet.
that's right. 'Cause I could have been a lot of people there that none of them would ever heard of Germany, let alone
Yeah,
down
that's
at-
right.
yeah. So, no,
Whole world.
it's a small world, but I was very lucky that I got hit in the leg instead of the head, and
Yes, you were fortunate.
and got back to the hospitals and was had very good care in the hospitals and was sent back close to home, so I got my passes to go home, you know, every other weekend and so, you know,
That worked out okay.
yeah, I have no complaints whatsoever
That's,
about the whole
that's,
thing.
that's wonderful. So, okay, so you got married in, like, say, what year, like 49 maybe?
Yeah.
Or 50?
Yeah,
Yeah.
49.
Tell me a little bit about your family now. Bring us right up to date to, like, right now.
Well,
And
Marilyn
what-
could do better than I could about
Well, you
that.
know-
Marilyn, you could come
Children.
over here. Sit over here and I'll get you.
I don't want to be in it.
All right.
No, we have
4 children,
4 children,
12 grandchildren.
4 children and
12 grandchildren,
wow.
and I don't know how many great-grandchildren.
We just had a new one last week. 1, 2,
Marilyn, don't you want to come in and say a few words?
Yeah,
no. 1, 2, 3. I'll help him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 great grandchildren and another one on the way.
so
Well, I don't think I'm getting what you said.
Good. He can say it.
we have 5 great-grandchildren and another one on the way.
That's great.
So we got a really extended family.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think you did great. I think we could close it down now, huh?
Oh, that'd be great.